A wave of crypto firms have hit the public markets this year, including one project from the Trump family, more than one actually, but this is one we haven't talked about. Eric Trump, co-founder and chief strategy officer of American Bitcoin, and Asher Genoot, he's CEO of Hut 8 and executive chairman of American Bitcoin. Welcome to you both.
Thanks for having me.
Who wants to go slow? I mean, I understand Bitcoin. Is this basically like a Bitcoin treasury company? Are you just betting on continued upward moves in Bitcoin?
Well, clearly we believe in Bitcoin, right? We think it's one of the great kind of generational assets. It's gone up roughly 70% every year, for a 10-year period of time. It's incredible. But no, it's actually so much more, because we actually mine the Bitcoin, and we're mining it at about a 50% discount to the market value of Bitcoin right now. So every single day, as we're sitting here right now, we're sitting there mining Bitcoin. So we're one of the few companies that every single day we're mining it, we're also accumulating it, we're dollar cost averaging our Bitcoin holdings down, all while having an asset, as I said, that's outperformed generally every indice, every market around the world, and it's probably been the number one performing asset, of our time.
The mining operations you provided with your side of the, was it a SPAC? Was it a merger with a SPAC?
So Hut 8 was one of the earliest and largest Bitcoin mining companies. That's right. And so we carved off our Bitcoin mining business because we had more pressure to build data center infrastructure, energy infrastructure. So Hut 8 has a pure energy infrastructure business now, with the Bitcoin itself all being mined at American Bitcoin today.
This is not the first crypto investment from the Trump family. Can you explain the news that, Eric, that happened on Monday? That was pretty positive for the Witkoff family as well. And then we'll talk about all of this with the backdrop of having your father as president.
So Joe, you know better than anybody why we got into crypto, right? We were debanked by everybody. We were debanked by Capital One, by JP Morgan.
Which has been admitted by certain...
Oh, of course. And by the way, it's really interesting.
And they were afraid of the Fed, I think.
They're all coming back, begging us to please open accounts, the Trump organization, please open accounts. And I never thought there'd be a time, clearly you need conventional banking as well, but never did I think there was a time that such a great company, a great hospitality company that's been around for so long, so honest, so perfect, could get debanked by Wall Street. And we fell into crypto. We met some of the smartest people in the world. I met Asher because of it. Unbelievable what they've done at Hut 8, the growth of the company, the stock price, et cetera. And we got into this new world because we needed to find a new solution for modern day finance. And you start realizing how antiquated the banks are, how broken they are, how slow they are, how costly they are.
What do you still need them for? You say you do need traditional banking.
So Becky, in time, I actually think that there's nothing on the blockchain that can't be done better, faster, more transparently. Why is it if Laura and I go out to get a mortgage on a home, it takes us 120 days? Why is it that every week, Becky, I'm waiting at 5 o'clock to send out a Swift wire transfer, and if I don't get it out by 5, or if I don't receive it by 5, congratulations, somebody doesn't get it until the following Monday night or Tuesday. Our financial system is broken. And then, by the way, our financial system literally taxed 50% of the people in this country, and now they're making up for it. Now they're kind of reversing course.
But what eventually you don't think you'll need traditional banking for any of that, but you do need it now for some of those things still?
Well, listen, you need payment rails, and I think stablecoin and a lot of other things is obviously picking up the slack. I think you're going to see that in a very, very big way, and I just think you're going to see modernized finance, which turns into 24/7. But you're also seeing assets like Bitcoin. Bitcoin has become the modern day gold. People all over the world are pouring into it. Companies from Fortune 500s, a company like ours, the sovereign wealth funds, to the richest families on earth, are all hoarding Bitcoin. It's become such an incredible asset. It's immediately liquid. It's probably the greatest hedge to real estate, that there is, right? Because again, you have massive liquidity. It's all around the world. It's protected by kind of the greatest ecosystem of energy mining companies in the world that safeguard it. Bitcoin has become, I think, the truly greatest asset of our time.
This is today, Eric. Two big deals. I'm sure you hear about this all the time. You've got a way, obviously, of explaining that. I mean, you've thought about that when you talk to the president about this, or when Don talks about some of his, or with Mr. Witkoff as well. In this one, they're talking about the UAE investing some money at the same time that they were granted access to some chips, and not saying it's related, but it could be. You're going to see this again and again in mainstream media in terms of a conflict of interest between the president in his position and his family being able to do so well in crypto.
Yeah. Joe, how long have I been sitting at this table? Like 20-something years, meaning I've been doing this with you guys for a very long time.
Yep.
You know, we're far from Hunter Biden, right? The guys out there selling.
That's what people are.
Right.
People say all presidents' sons do these things.
Okay. The guys out there selling finger art, right? You know, I've run one of the great hospitality companies, you know, anywhere in the world. You know, we went through hell. Believe me, my father's the first guy who hasn't made money off of the presidency. In fact, you know, if I were to send you a tally of our legal bills over the last
And the brand,
next number
the
of years.
Trump brand probably got
Listen,
obviously.
we've always been, you know, serial capitalists. We've always had companies, and honestly, crypto came out of a necessity that we were debanked by everybody, and we needed to find a new way. And so I couldn't be more proud of American Bitcoin. We're obviously ringing the bell right in this room, and you know, a couple of minutes, and you know, it's going to be an amazing venture. I think we're going to do Bitcoin. I think we're going to do cryptocurrency better than anyone. We've truly built one of the great companies, one of the great crypto companies. And by the way, one thing. America's got to lead the way in it. I mean, I watch in Asia, I watch in the Middle East, I watch in all these places around the world. They are all sprinting toward cryptocurrency. And it was really nice. My father became a believer when he was debanked. You know, and it's really nice to see a country take such an incredible initiative and actually, because it is the future. I don't care what anybody says, it is the future. You fast forward 18 months, you fast forward 5 years. Our financial markets and the way they operate, the speed at which they operate, the efficiency at which they operate, you know, the pace, everything, the fees. I mean, it's going to transformationally change how we do business, and I am so proud of that.
The financial markets don't see the financial companies, the big financial companies, coming under a lot of pressure from this. If you look over the year to date, they're up 50% over the last year. Citigroup, JP Morgan's done very well, Wells Fargo, all the way through with those big banks. You think there's room for everybody to play in this?
Yeah, let me maybe challenge you. Look at the amount of money that BlackRock's putting into cryptocurrency, right? Look at the amount of money, all of them. If you went back 12 months, not a single one of them was talking about treasuring any you know, Bitcoin assets, any kind of crypto assets. Now all of a sudden Schwab's doing it, and Fidelity's doing it.
But is there room for everybody? I guess that's my question.
Yeah, listen, I think the people who embrace it the quickest are going to win the race. And I think those that don't embrace it, you know what they're going to do? They're going to die a very slow and painful death. And you're already seeing that. Look at the success of Coinbase. I mean, look at their stock relative to everybody else, right? I mean, crypto is leading the way. It's what people want. It's an incredible generational play, but it also solves all the problems of modern day finance, which is the fact that it's lethargic, it's slow, it's costly. It's costly as hell. You know this better than anybody. I mean, it's inefficient. Look at your FX rates every single day, right? That all gets eliminated. And it's also really punitive because there's people at the other side, you know, who will make the decision as to, you know, Joe, you're not getting banked. You know why? Because you're a conservative. And so we're going to take away your bank accounts. We're going to destroy your business. We're going to take away your...
This is just a hypothetical thing you're saying here.
It's not a hypothetical thing.
No, I mean about me being a conservative.
Well, it's very hypothetical, Joe. It's very
hypothetical.
Very hypothetical.
Exactly. I mean, these are varied and sundry investments, though, the Trump family. I'm just wondering, I mean, you go across, you span the whole gamut. You've got stable coins, you've got memes, you've got world liberty, you've got this initiative. I mean,
so I don't think there's anything incendiary about Bitcoin. I mean, American Bitcoin is Bitcoin being mined in the United States of America using American energy. Like pretty cool concept.
You wish
right?
you were involved in some of the other. You are involved probably in the other ones as well.
Then obviously World Liberty is a stable coin.
A stable coin.
Pegged 1-to-1 on the U.S. dollar.
The U.S. dollar.
And by the way, we should be damn thrilled in this country that everybody in the world wants the U.S. dollar and wants the U.S. dollar, right? I mean, I don't care if you're in Asia. I don't care if you're in the Middle East. I don't care if you're in South America. You know what everybody universally wants? They don't want the euro. Right? They popped up a European stablecoin. Less than half of 1% of Europeans were willing to buy it. You know why? Congratulations, they want the U.S. dollar. That's really cool. The great thing about stablecoins is they're going to bring trillions of dollars from all around the world into the U.S. economy, and we should honestly celebrate that.
You got how many Bitcoin now? You got, is this current 2443, and that's not including what was mined? I don't know.
You can maybe talk about that. That was a disclosed number a couple of weeks ago, but we continue to bring on Bitcoin every single day. We continue to buy Bitcoin. We continue to mine Bitcoin on a daily basis. And I think if you think about American Bitcoin, the value is we're more than just a miner. We're more than just a treasury company. We're the best of both worlds, and we accumulate Bitcoin for people to increase their Bitcoin per share. And from a mission perspective, if people globally are going to accept Bitcoin as a store of value, We want that infrastructure and that Bitcoin backbone to be built right here in the U.S. to securitize that network.
Will your stake go up, Eric? You've got under 10% at this point, right? Or is it over that?
If I do a great job, obviously, stakes go up. No, listen, we're committed to long term. You see a lot of these treasury companies where people go out and they dump stock, day one. We've all locked ourselves in for a very long period of time. We are fully in it to grow the greatest Bitcoin company anywhere on earth. I think you're going to have an explosive fourth quarter. That's my prediction. When you see, obviously what's going to happen with rates, what's very likely to happen with rates, tomorrow, fourth quarter is always incredibly, incredibly bullish for crypto. And then you just see the worldwide demand. And again, I've seen it in the Middle East, I've seen it in Asia, I've seen it in South America. I mean, everybody's hoarding this asset. I think you're going to have an unbelievable fourth quarter, and we're really excited about it.
Your sister, Ivanka, was on last weekend. I know she was very close to Charlie Kirk. He was a friend of yours as well. Yeah. When I talked to Ivanka about it, I said, your dad, was it a centimeter? Was it? I mean, we can argue about it, but it was the turn of the head that we could have had a similar situation. Where do we go from here?
I'm sick and tired of seeing bullets flying at people's heads. It's insane.
Well, on both sides.
It's insane. Well, I don't know. I mean, right. Of course, both sides, but I don't really see the bullets flying in one direction.
It's happened, but it does.
Joe, I sat there with two kids on my lap watching my father's head almost get blown off by, a sociopath in Butler, Pennsylvania, and then I saw somebody try and kill him on a golf course, 4 weeks later, and then I see a dear friend. I mean, Charlie was a dear friend of all of ours, our family. I knew Charlie when he was 21 years old, when he was just standing up. Turning point where he told us the whole thesis of what he wanted to do across the country. And in the back of my head, I'm kind of rolling my eyes saying this is pretty lofty ambitions to change the mindset of the entire youth vote in the United States of America. And the guy did it. And last week we all watched as he was assassinated in front of all of us. And it breaks my heart. But now I'm only seeing those bullets flying one way. And it's unthinkable that can happen in the United States of America.
There have been cases, obviously, the representatives, but the response on social media hasn't been gratifying.
I think
or positive. In certain circles, but it doesn't keep many from celebrating. I saw things that, I mean, is social media fixable in any way, shape, or form without over-regulation?
When you have 1.4 million people march the streets of London, right? These aren't U.S. citizens, right? In honor of Charlie. When you have every single one of the NFL, go back 4 years, you had Kaepernick. He was taking the knee during the national anthem every single time, and now you have every single one of the NFL teams displaying Charlie's face. Hey, we've come a long way. This pissed off not only the youth vote in this country, this pissed off everybody, right? No one stands for this. And yes, is social media broken? 100%. Will you get a horrible comment by some ignorant person who celebrates somebody's death on the left? Absolutely, there's no question. What I can tell you is 99.9% of Americans think what happened is atrocious. And I mean, look at churches around this country this Sunday. They were overflowing, right? And that was because of Charlie and what happened to Charlie. And so, I believe in the law of unintended consequences in life. And this should have never happened. And the unintended consequence of this is maybe even far greater than what could have ever been built by one simple organization.
You a New York City resident, Eric?
I'm not.
Just wondering if you were, who would you be voting for mayor?
I mean, it's crazy. It's New York, it needs two things: low taxes and safety on the streets, and then get the hell out of the way. And honestly, Joe, you and Becky and capitalism and what we do every single day will solve the rest of it. New York's the greatest city in the world.
You think we can lower the pro-socialist contingent of young people below 50% again? It's above 50% right now.
Listen, I'd love to see
Is that all part of the same problem that we're seeing?
Hey, I say this all the time, right? I mean, I live in Florida now, all right? I'm a Florida resident. I've lived there for a long time with Laura and I don't think any state could compete with New York if you just provided a pro-business environment, normalized taxes. I'm not even saying you need to totally reduce, the 8%, 9% state tax. I'm just saying, bring it down to where North Carolina is. Bring it down to 4%. Bring it to 3%. And just provide safety and common sense on the streets and get out of the way. And no one anywhere in the world could beat New York and kind of the capitalistic spirit that we have right here. But then you see the people like de Blasio come in, and they're painting signs in the middle of the streets, and they're putting up homeless shelters on Fifth Avenue and spending an absolute fortune, and they're going after the NYPD and neutering them and everything they do, and wrecking their heart and soul, and you wonder why you see the problems that New York's had over the last decade.
I didn't want to correct you on every NFL team, but the Bengals I don't think did.
Pretty good versus 5 years ago. I think you'd say we've come a long way since Kaepernick, right?
Yeah, I would, but I'm disappointed with the Bengals. Well, for so many reasons. Anyway, gentlemen, thank you. Good to have you on, Ash. And I guess we need your dad. We had Ivanka, we've had Don, and but we've had
watch a bell ringing in a couple hours.
We will. So. We did that last week, and it's very complex, and you got to hit the button at the right time. If you practice. You got to practice. You practice. And then don't be surprised, there's going to be confetti.
Exactly.
You do. All right, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Squawk Box will be right back.